All right, hi you guys. Welcome to another subscriber first wholesale deal interview. I got our guest today. He just closed on his first recent first wholesale deal back in November, but he has continuously closing multiple deals after that. So I'm gonna get to him on, share with you guys obviously his stories, how he got his first wholesale deal, and how he's able to continue with the success. Hopefully, you guys will be able to get something from this. You guys also too, it's not just listen, but take what you learn, apply, take massive actions, and make it happen. And that's the reason why I'm doing this is is to help inspire and motivate those of you who haven't done one, and letting you know that this is possible and it's possible for anybody. And this business is legit. So let's help me, you guys. Welcome our special guest, Devon. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. Excited to
Awesome.
be on here.
Hey, happy Monday, buddy. And hey, I'm so sorry for what happened. We try to get the schedule early in the morning. I just came back from Maryland, so there's a couple of things that I gotta get taken care of. So I apologize for that, buddy.
It's all good, man. Yeah, it's all good. And I had to re-download Zoom and everything, and so I had to get it all set up again.
Gotcha. Okay, no problem. So let's jump right into it. And you guys, if this add any kind of value to you, and if you like my special guest today, please don't be shy. Smash that thumbs up for me. So Devon, let's get right into it, buddy. Let's go ahead and share with everyone kind of your background, your stories, kind of where you're at, and actually how old you are right now.
All right, so I guess I'll start off with the age real quick. I'm 19 years old. I'm a full-time college student. So I originally grew up in Colorado. I went to high school there and everything. And then I played baseball all throughout high school. And then I got recruited to play baseball in Boise, Idaho. And so that was I've never even heard of, I didn't know Idaho was a state really. I mean, obviously I did, but I didn't know anybody lived there. And then my parents moved to Minnesota, so I went to Idaho. And so I went to school out there, full-time college student. I was going to school for computer science. And so it's kind of funny how I went from computer science to flipping real estate. But so I went to school out there. I was going for my freshman year, and I was trying to find internships actually. And so I was trying to get into an internship after my freshman year. And it turns out nobody wants a freshman from college to work for them as an intern. They would rather have someone that's a junior go work at them so they could hire them next year. And so I ended up, my dad convinced me to do a sales job. And so I was like, fine, whatever, I'll take it. So I was selling these vacuum cleaners, door-to-door vacuum cleaners. And this was completely off track, but I just went for it. And then I saw all the opportunity there was in the world rather than having to go for a set income for the rest of your life. Because I was computer science, they make 6 figures when they get out of school. Pretty nice, but there's not that much room for growth. Maybe maximum they're making $200,000 a year. And I mean, that's crazy money for a lot of people out there, I imagine, watching this. But once Khang can probably relate, just once you start doing a deal or two, then you're just that's it, 200,000? Sky's the limit. So anyways, I came across real estate wholesaling. I was listening to podcasts every day, and I came across real estate wholesaling, and so I was like, what's that? What's this, flipping houses with no money? That sounds fake. So I just went out there and I tried to do it. I just started researching, and I was getting information overload and everything. And I came across one thing. I came across this guy's oh yeah, just post these Craigslist ads and people will call you. So I was like, okay, yeah. So I created a Craigslist ad. Didn't think anything of it the months after that. So then I was trying to do bandit signs. I was trying to do and then I paid for a course, and so I was I sent out. It was funny. So then I started making connections and everything, and I want to say 2 months go by, and I get this phone call, and they're like, "Hi, is this Devon?" And I was like, "Yes," and I was like, "Well," the guy said, "I saw your Craigslist ad. I know it's 2 months old, but it says that you buy houses cash. Are you still buying houses cash?" And this thing was 2 months old. I totally forgot about it. And then it turns out this guy's like, "Yeah, I got these 2 properties on one lot right here. I want you to go check it out. I'm trying to get rid of it. Someone passed away in one of the houses. and the other people, they're just not paying the rent that well. And so I was like, I had a buddy that I met up with that was another wholesaler, so a partner. So we went there and checked it out and everything. And we went in there. We went and looked at the house, and it was like atrocious. The back house, it was like, I want to say it was like this, sitting on the foundation. And then the front house, it was okay. There's people living in it, but it was disgusting inside of there. And so, whatever, we go in there. We talk with the guy. The other guy that I was working with, he kind of did all the talking. He was kind of showing me the ways that he's learned, and I'm the one that found the deal. So he was really just trying to help me out, and then trying to show me what he was doing. And so we talked to the guy, and remind you, this is in Minnesota. I forgot to add this part. I was working in Minnesota for the summer. And so the properties out there are worth like, I want to say like these two houses, normally they're probably worth like $200,000. And they're like little 2-bedroom, 1-bathrooms, but there's 2 of them, perfect for a landlord. And then, so we get the guy down to, I think we got it down to like 70,000 for these 2 things, because one of them needed a lot of work. And so we get it down to 70,000. We shake hands, but the guy wanted like $1,000 earnest money, and so we weren't too big of fans of that. But we figured it was a good enough deal, and so we did it. But we made sure that we had we were able to get it back if it turns out the properties were in way worse condition than we thought it would be. So we had inspectors go through and everything, and everybody hated the property. Actually, we had like, I want to say 5 people go through. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is disgusting. It's too much work, and there's no money to be made. Like, you're going to have to tear down one of the houses, or it's going to be a stupid amount of work. And so we had to cancel the contract, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this was like in August or whatever. So back in August, and then I had to go to school at the end of August. Early September. So I went back to Idaho to go back to school, play baseball and everything. I still wanted to close my first deal. And so I had saved a little bit of money together after I paid for the course. I saved some money to do some direct mail. And so I got with a buddy. We got like $2,500 together, and we mailed, I think it was like an equity list source off a list source. And so we sent out this list, and then I completely forgot about the deal that happened in Minnesota. And I want to say at the end of October, I get a phone call from the guy I was working with, and he said, "Hey Devon, how's it going? You remember? Let's say the guy's name was Bob. I forget what his name was. Do you remember Bob?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, he gave me a call back yesterday, and he said he wants to sell his house. He says he still wants to sell his house. He can't find anybody that'll buy it from him. And so before we left and everything, well, I guess my partner, he made him an offer of $25,000 on this property. Now, imagine how heartbreaking it is. You get offered $65,000. The people at 70, we bought it for $70,000, and then the people offer you $25,000. We'll cancel the contract and offer you that. So the guy was pissed off when we canceled it and everything, and then he called back and was asking if that offer was still available. And so they negotiated it, and he got it down to $27,500. He just kept saying, oh, his name was Tom, actually. He was like, "No, Tom, I can't go any higher," because he kept trying to get like $35,000, $30,000. Kept saying, "No, I can't get it any higher." And then he's like, "Okay, fine, Tom, I'll go to $27,500. That's the most I can do." And even then, it may be a little bit too low. And so I was going to school and everything, and then once he got it under contract again for the $27,500, we started calling up. I only had like 50 cash buyers. He probably had like no more than 100. So we weren't like crazy amount of cash buyers. We were just cold calling all these cash buyers saying, "Hey, we got this property, check it out." And we called them all, and it turned out there was like 20 people that showed up. And so I guess it was a madhouse, and we had so many offers that we had to turn a lot of people down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to have.
Yep. And then so we had one guy tell us how much he wanted for it, and then I don't know if he wanted me to get to the point of saying what we got it. We flipped it for yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, the guy that called up, well, he said, I want to buy it right now. I want to pay all cash. I don't want to wait. I don't care what everybody else is saying. Just tell me what you want and I'll take it. And so we told him that we would do it for 45,000.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we got it for, we sold it for 45,000. The guy was like, I have cash right now. I want to flip it. And so it turned out actually in the city of St. Paul, Minnesota, which is where this house was, you have to have an inspector walk through in order to change of hands of the title.
Huh.
And so none of these houses had fire alarms in them, or like that was one of the biggest things. You had to have wired fire alarms inside of there. And then it was like the foundation was so bad, so it wasn't going to get approved by the county, or we would have gone through like a ton of paperwork. And so we actually flipped this deal without a title company.
Huh.
So there was like no home insurance, none of that stuff. But that was the only way this property was going to move. Like everything was like, we had some attorneys go over everything, but yeah, we weren't able to use a title company because the county wouldn't have let the deal go through.
Interesting. Okay. So, so Devon, I'm gonna try to dive in and then try to cut and then trying to break everything up a little bit here. So you made 17.5 on it?
Yeah, it came out of something like that. So I made, all I know is the check that I got was like 8,700.
Okay, so you guys end up splitting it, right?
Yeah.
So let me see here, see if it's divided by 2. Yep, that's correct. So it was 17.5 and then split for you guys. So you got 87.5 and $50.
Yeah, something like that.
Got it. So now, Devon, when did you initially start? Like initially, like got into the whole wholesaling and start listening?
So it was like in July, I started listening to podcasts. Got into Bigger Pockets. I watched a few YouTube videos, but I wish I would have watched more because I think there's a lot of content out there on YouTube that I missed out on.
Gotcha. So you start diving in back in July, and how did you discover Wholesale? Was it through YouTube or what?
I was listening to this podcast called like Side Hustler or something like that. The Side Hustler podcast. I was trying to I had a lot of free time. I was trying to make some money on the side, and I was getting desperate. So I was just Googling all these different ways, and I was listening to this podcast, and he was like, yeah, there's this thing called real estate wholesaling. You flip houses with no cash.
Gotcha. And Devon, before we dive in, man, I just want to say congrats. That's fantastic, man. I mean, it seems like, just within a few months or so, you closed your first wholesale deal. So that's to me very impressive because I didn't do mine until like way later. So so very impressive. And I want to say congrats. And I want to say thank you so much, man, for taking your time to come onto the channel and to help inspire other people. And I truly appreciate that.
Thank you for the invite, Khang. I enjoy your channel. I love it, man. You got some good stuff inside there.
Hey, not a problem, man. Thank you. And for those of you who recently closed your first wholesale deal, you want to get onto the show, drop me a comment and let me know, and let's connect. So he calls you from Craigslist, right? So this one from Craigslist?
Yeah, this was a Craigslist ad.
Gotcha. And then so two houses, is it on one lot or is it on two separate lots?
It was on one lot. It was like 2 houses on one parcel ID or whatever you call it.
Gotcha. Okay. So 2 houses on one partial ID, and at first you lock it up for 70,000.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we offered him 65, and then he convinced us to go to 70.
Gotcha. But what was his first initial asking price?
I imagine he was probably wanting like 80.
He's wanting 80?
Yeah, he was one of those guys that wouldn't really tell us what he wanted, but we were kind of figuring it out, feeling out the motivation by just kind of lowballing him a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay. So he was somewhere in his 80s. So everybody kind of want to know, and I haven't asked this on some other subscriber, but how did you guys? So what kind of things did you guys get to get him to come down on price and agreed on the price at 70,000?
Well, I think it really broke down to was we were trying to build up as much rapport with this guy as possible. We were probably there for 2 hours, like talking
At the
about like
house?
what? Yeah, at this guy's house, or well, the houses that he owned, the two houses. We were in the one that it was empty.
Oh, okay. So he lives in one and there's one that's vacant?
No, he had both of them filled, and with tenants, and one of the houses, the guy passed away.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but he was like living there for like 20 years inside of this one house for the guy, so it was a long-term tenant. And
Gotcha.
yeah, so we were talking with the guy, and like we were just talking about like him riding Harleys and like just about life and stuff with him, and so I think that was probably the main thing. And then we just kept like we just gave him a lowball offer when he wouldn't tell us what he wanted out of it.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, what do you guys figure the ARV on this property is?
So we thought it was worth about like 140, and it needed about like $40,000 worth of work.
Okay.
But,
So, gotcha. Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. And then, so initially, you guys thought the ARV was 140, repair was about 40,000, and so you made an offer of 65, and you came to an agreement of 70,000. This is the first time, correct?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, because we had to cancel it.
Yeah. No, I understand. So now, so were you guys there, walk through? So do you guys make the initial offer just over the phone, or did you guys walk through the property, right?
We walked through the property and made the offer.
Okay, gotcha. Now, when you and 1,000 for earnest money, correct?
The guy wouldn't let us go any lower than $1,000. So yeah.
Gotcha. And how long do you guys tie the property up on the contract for Devon?
I want to say like 5 days. Like, well, like that's how long we had it on a contract till we canceled it. But originally, I think we had it planned out for closing day was in like 21 days or something like that, 3 weeks.
Huh. So 21. So 3 weeks closing.
Yeah.
But so basically, he allows you for a 5 days inspection. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think we had like a 7-day or something, and we knew after 5 what was going on.
Gotcha. Now, how did you get and when you first send that out, do you got buyers that comes in, and where do you get your buyers?
So I got a lot of mine from actually like calling people off of Craigslist that look like they would be I would call like FRBOs, front buy owners, off Craigslist, and I would call like some of those We Buy Houses leads and things off Craigslist, and then I'd call a lot of websites, and I'm trying to think. That was the majority. I had like 50 cash buyers. The guy I was working with had only about 100. He went to a lot of like the RIA meetings, and I think he went to an auction or two. And so we kind of combined lists a little bit for this deal.
Nice. And how do you connect with that wholesaler?
So how I connected with him was actually I took a course, and the admin of the course connected us too, because I was trying to figure things out.
Sure.
And so she hooked me and him up. She's like, "Oh, there's another guy in Minnesota. He just closed a deal," which I think he closed a deal right before that for like 30,000 or something. That's how much he made.
Wow, nice.
Rock star, but he hadn't closed that many deals. He just got lucky in a couple of them.
Gotcha. Okay.
And but yeah, so they were like, "Yeah, check out this guy," and so I was like, "Okay." And then they hooked me up with him, and he was basically sat down for coffee, and we were just talking about what we can offer for each other. We're trying to JV, even though like 9 times out of 10 JVs don't work out.
Yep. No.
And especially when one's a newbie and then one's a guy that's been doing deals, it never works out. But this one did, because I found the lead, so we kind of joined everything up together because I was able to find the motivated seller rather than just having him do everything.
Nice, man. So basically, so now the sellers. So is the seller only allow you for a 5 to 7 days inspection, or is that what you guys asked for?
I think we tried to get a 14, and then the guy wanted an answer sooner, so we got it down to 7.
Gotcha. Okay. So he gave you a 7 days inspection, and how many buyers do you guys get? How many buyers do you guys send out to the property?
Well, I want to say we targeted all 150, and we got like 4 or 5 to show up. It was nothing, and we did like a 3-hour window. And I actually wasn't there because I had to sell vacuum cleaners at the time.
Gotcha.
So I didn't have to sit at the property with the seller. And so I guess the other guy I was working with had to talk to this guy for 3 hours, basically, because nobody was coming in there.
Gotcha. Okay. So you got about four to five buyers that was interested in the property. Is that correct, Devon?
Yeah, that would go walk through.
Gotcha. Now, why did you guys have to cancel? So what was the missing part? The rehab?
So yeah, that was the problem. The foundation, actually, they needed a new foundation. This house was probably built in like 1908 or something like that.
So basically, so when you send your buyers out there, all your buyers told you that.
Yeah, there was like a couple of contractors that walked through, and they're like, that foundation, it's too risky. So they were saying they would either have to pick up the house, redo all the foundation inside of there, or tear down the house and maybe build a new one, or just make it like one house on the lot.
Gotcha. So what did they come back and tell you the repair cost would be?
They said it would be about like $80,000.
$80,000. So now, do you guys went back and try to renegotiate with the seller? I mean, or has any buyer gave you like a price saying, hey, Devon, I would buy for this, but not for 70?
So yeah, we actually, like, the way that we see it, this is kind of what I learned from mentors and everything, was never renegotiate the contract. Because if you put if you start trying to renegotiate the contract after you've canceled it, then they put their negotiation cap on there, and you're not going to get the property. You're not going to get the property at a deep discount. Like you'll get like maybe maximum $5,000 off of it, but this is where you start to get like the massive profits and able to make more money in the property. So we just called them up and we were just like, hey, Tom, we're canceling the contract. Where do you want us to send the papers? That's it. We just shut up and then let him talk. And he was actually very upset. He's like, what does it have to be at to move forward? So we said, my partner said, I don't know, about like 25,000. And so we went from 70,000 to 25,000. And so he was infuriated and he hung up and we didn't hear back from him.
Gotcha. Okay. So basically you guys just say, hey, we're going to cancel the deal. Where do you want me to send the paperwork? And the seller actually was the one that speaks up and said, hey, where would you guys buy it at? Right?
Yeah.
And then you guys decided to make him a $25,000 offer.
Yeah, that's what we felt comfortable with. I mean, we couldn't really go much higher than that, but
Right. Now, Devon, I got a quick question for you. When you were sending your buyout at this time, did any of your buyer came back and say, hey, you know what, I can't pay 70, but I can pay this much? Or did they just say, nah, it's not going to work?
We try to ask a few people, and they were saying about like we needed to have it under contract for like 40,000. So we had like probably 2 or 3 of them say that. So we understood that we had to get really low for this to be a deal. So we were kind of just putting out the fire and just moving on, trying to work on bigger and better things.
Gotcha. Nice. So, and the thing is, you guys, for those of you who don't understand, the reason why I asked Devon all these questions is because Devon, his buyer, he did ask his buyers, or maybe his buyer just told him that, hey, we need to be at 40,000. So now you guys kind of have a figure. Okay, you know what? People are going to buy at 40,000, so I got to offer obviously less to the seller. Is it, Devon? And if I misunderstood you, let me know. So basically, once you heard, hey, buyer would pay for 40, you guys think that you guys need to get your fee in there, so you offer 25. Is that correct?
Yeah, because you figure like negotiation, you never the low number and the high number never are the final number. So we had to get low enough to where we figured we could move back and forth a little bit and get in there. But yeah,
sure. Gotcha. No, very smart. So now he calls you back like what, 2 months later? You said?
Yeah, it was like 3 months later or something like that. I went back to college, forgot about the deal, honestly. And
gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So he calls. Did he call you back, or he call your partner back?
He called the partner, just because he knew he was back in Minnesota, still living out there. But as soon as the guy called my partner called me up immediately and told me what was going on.
Gotcha. So, and then you guys negotiate, lock it up at 27.5, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we told him we weren't going any higher, and he kept trying to get us up. He's offered like 35 at first. He's like, I'll sell it for 35. I'm like, no, we can't sell it for that. Well, what about like 3,000? We're like, no, we can't do that. Well, what? And then the guy's like, I can't go any lower. And we're like, okay, what if we made the middle? So we got down to 27.5.
Gotcha. So now here's my question for you, Devon, is what are some of the key points that you have to tell the seller to kind of get him to come down in price?
I wouldn't really say it's just like a key point that I'm saying. It's just we're pulling away. We're acting like we just have like this abundance mindset. It's like a dog in a sense. If you run after like some random dog on the street, they're going to run away. But if you run away from the dog, they're going to chase after you. And so what we would do is we would just keep pulling away. And I mean, there was one thing we would ask. We were like, well, we can't do that, but what if we did this number? Not saying it's solid or anything, not saying it's happening, but what if, like, inside of your mind, what do you think of this number and how would this relationship work out if we were pick it up at this price?
Gotcha. Nice. Now, Devon, since you guys already walked through the property, how much time do you guys get on the second chance?
For the inspection period after we got on a contract?
Yeah.
So we told him we needed 2 inspections this time. And he gave us, I think, 14 days. We said we needed time to make sure that this is a good deal. So, because we said that foundation's in rough shape, and from our understanding, it's going to cost a lot, but we got to get our guys back in there to make sure that we can move forward and the numbers are good. Gotcha.
Okay. And how long's the closing?
I think we had 30 days this time. Gotcha.
Nice. So 30 days with a 14 days inspections. And now tell me, so I was a little confused where your buyer, where this buyer actually ended up buying the property. He bought a sight unseen?
No, he went and saw it. We had the first inspection came, and he had a few more buyers, I had a few more buyers, and we tried doing like some text blasts and all that. And so it turned out that we had 20 people show up.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, 20 people walking through this property, and we had only an hour window this time instead of before we had a 3-hour window. So we were like trying to get that insane, crazy, like basically it's a circus there sort of feel. So that way we can make the most on this property as possible.
Right.
Because you see, like, if you're just there by yourself and maybe one other guy, you're like, oh, I just got to compete with this guy. He doesn't look like he's going to buy it. I can lowball him. I don't have to offer him what they're asking for it for the suggested assignment price.
Right.
But if you like 19 other people there, all like serious cash buyers, everybody's going to be offering the most that they're willing to offer on this property.
So, Devon, here's my question for you, man. 20 people show up all at the same time, dude?
Yeah.
All at the same time?
All in this 1 hour period. 1 hour.
Holy smokes. Now, is the seller there?
Yeah.
Okay, man. So the seller was there. 20 people continue showing up.
Yeah.
In the matter of fact of 1 hour. What kind of did you have any question from the seller, man?
Yeah, we didn't talk to the seller. We were so busy with all the buyers coming in that we didn't get a chance to talk to them the whole time.
So now was anyone? So were you there, or your partner was there to facilitate?
So it was my partner there that was facilitating, but he painted the picture for me, basically.
Oh, dang, man. And the seller didn't questions or anything like that?
I think it was a little like, what the heck's going on? But it was just like, these are our business partners.
Dude, the reason why I asked, because this one time I sent, it's supposed to only supposed to 3 buyers show up, and then they brought their contractor, and then some of them brought their inspector, some of them brought their partners. So we had someone there that's going to show the property, and all of a sudden there was like, I think 7 or 8 of them there. I got a call from my guy, and he's saying, Khang, I think the seller was kind of concerned, wondering who all these people were. And then I have to start explaining myself and all of that. So I just want to know how your situation went.
Yeah. Like, well, before he understood that, we were like having people walk through, and so we had like 4 or 5 people before he understood that, and we were just like, these are our partners. We figured the most people possible inside of here, we can get the best. Like trying to figure out what we're getting, like what we can do with it, and so we even make them aware, like, hey, like some of these people want to buy the properties themselves, and so I give them the opportunity to pick it up. But there are some properties where we pick them up and fix them and flip them ourselves, or we rent out ourselves. So it just really depends on what other people want, while our contractors kind of tell us what we can get out of it.
Gotcha.
And we understood that from the first time, and then this time it was just like, hey Tom, we got a lot of people coming, just be ready. And then it was just, there's nothing you could do because it was like the contract's already like it's already signed up, it's already binding. We gave him the $1,000 earnest money, so all he cared about was he was getting rid of the property. And this guy was very stubborn, I have to say. But when it came to this part, it wasn't that big of a deal with him, because just like he didn't get a chance to talk to anybody. So we just had all these guys show up.
Gotcha, man. So so now you guys end up not closing with a title company, close with an attorney, correct?
Yeah, so you're supposed to close with a title company, and it just so in St. Paul, you have to have an inspector walk through that's verified with the county in order to approve of the transferring a title. And so it was only in the county of St. Paul. If we were to go to like any other like surrounding county, they wouldn't have a problem with it. It would be normal. But for some reason, the county of St. Paul, it's a lot of older homes, which is understandable. But yeah, so we wouldn't be able to flip the title without having an inspector walk through. And there was like, I want to say like 3 things that had to be in place for it to be transferred. And then all the other stuff, like it would just be disclosure. Hey, this needs to be fixed. This needs to be fixed. And so one of the things on the list was having wired fire alarms inside the house. And so super, super random, but we didn't have any fire alarms in one of the houses just because it was from like 1903. It was old, and then this guy owned it for the seller had it for like 30 years. So things changed a little bit in the time being. And so coming to find out we had an inspector walk through there, we knew that we weren't able to use a title company. But the buyer that we were working with, he's been working in the market for a long time in that same county, and he owned like $7 million worth of properties or something crazy like that. So this was a really serious cash buyer we ended up picking out. And he's like, hey, I know how to do it. You just got to trust me on it. Like, there's this route that we got to go. We got to fill out these paperwork. I'll have my assistant drop you off some stuff that you have to sign, and we can sign it without going through the inspector and the title company. Wow. So he had the attorney write up some paperwork and everything. And we probably wouldn't have been able to do this deal if we didn't have this guy.
Wow. So. Gotcha. So now, if you don't mind sharing, where did this buyer come from?
So this buyer, I don't remember exactly. It was on my partner's list, but I think he met him at a RIA meeting. It was either a RIA meeting or at an auction, one of the two.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. And how quickly? So 14 days. How soon do you guys? How fast do you guys find the buyer?
So we found the buyer. I think it was like 4 days later.
And how fast the closing?
He wanted to close as soon as possible. He didn't want to wait 30 days. He's just like, I have the cash. I want this property now. I want to start fixing it up, and I want to flip it. Or I think he wanted to turn it into a rental. But so we closed. I think it was in it turned out like 20 days.
Nice.
Done a little bit faster.
Gotcha.
We got it under contract like October 25th or something like that. And I think we closed on it like November 14th.
Nice, man. Congrats. Now, go ahead.
I just want to say one of my goals when I was getting started was to do my first deal before I turned 19. I was like, I wanted to do a deal when I was 18. My birthday's on Halloween.
Oh, sweet.
So that part on its own is kind of cool. But so we got it under contract the 25th, and we closed literally like 2 weeks after my birthday. I was like, man, like I wanted to close this so badly before I turned 19. To say that I flipped a house when I was 19 or when I was 18.
Yeah.
But it ended up taking a week or two longer. I mean, I was still happy that I got the check and everything, and I was like, this is cool. But
Dude, at 19, bro, I gotta say congrats. You're hustling. That's awesome, man. So congrats. Now, I was gonna ask you. Let me see here. I want to see if I can ask you any. Oh yeah, do you ask the buyer to put down any deposit, non-refundable?
Yeah. So we made him put down a $4,000 non-refundable earnest money deposit.
Nice.
So just in case we had canceled, and then so we could make something off of our time that we had to try to do this and everything.
Sure, absolutely. And were you guys correct on your ARV?
Yeah, so it was worth about like 120 to 140. And then we actually lowballed the numbers for rent, like how much it would cost for rent, all that stuff. And so the buyer was the one that was gonna he was gonna turn into a rental. Now that I'm thinking about it, for sure. And he just like, wow, like those numbers are way too low, and even at those numbers that he gave us, it was a good deal. But this is what it's actually worth. And so it was like a couple $100 we were off or something. And so he was really excited about that.
Gotcha. So Devon, I want to ask you really quick. So on the house, were there 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 3-bedroom, like what is it?
So they're both 2-bedroom, 1-bath.
And what's the rent?
It was like $800 a month for each.
Gotcha. Okay. So basically, so that's after fix up, right? You can rent it for $800 a piece.
Yeah.
Nice. And what was it currently renting at the time? Do you know?
Like $700.
Gotcha.
So these things are not pretty at all. Like I can't believe these people were paying
man
$1 for it.
Gotcha. So one of the house was vacant, the other one was not. So how do you guys dealt with the renter?
So the tenants, we just told them, hey, you guys can stay in here. We just got to sign a new lease agreement. And they were cool with it or whatever. And I think they still live there currently. So I don't think the buyer fixed up the property until they moved out, which I haven't followed up on it. So we just told them, hey, the seller's selling the house and we're buying it, but you guys can stay inside of here. And so we didn't have to kick him out or anything because the buyer was cool with them being there. So
gotcha. So basically, you guys are telling the seller that you're going to take over with the renter in there, right?
Yeah.
And then you just pass that along to the buyer.
Right.
And the buyer happens to be cool with it.
Yeah. He was a big landlord guy. Had a lot of properties with multifamilies and all that type of stuff. So
awesome, man. And how much did he say that it's going to cost him to fix it?
So yeah, this guy, I think he was saying like 60,000, something like that.
60,000?
Yeah.
Nice. So he'll be in it like at 105 or something like that.
Yeah, and so if he's turning that to a rental, that's some pretty good rent. Like what, $1,600 a month for a $100,000 property?
Heck yeah, man. There's no way you'll find that in my area, but that's some good numbers. You guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, Devon, man, he got it done. Got his first deal done at the age of 19. Made $8,750 in 20 days.
Yeah, it was like, yeah. Well, I mean, technically like 4 months, but
yeah.
But yeah. Once we got it on contract the second time, it was like 20 days. Took no time at all.
Gotcha, man. So 4 months of actually. So the initial day you get started into wholesaling took you 4 months to do your first deal. Made $8,750.
Right.
Bro, congrats, man. That's awesome. Devon, before we wrap it up, share with people how they can get in contact with you. Networking, you guys, is huge. That's why Devon be able to find his partner, and also too is give some tips and advice to anyone that is starting out and try to get their first wholesale done, bud.
All right, so I guess I'll go with my advice first because I feel like giving value is more important than telling who I am. So I recommend if you're getting started, just there's all these different marketing strategies out there. I've seen PDFs of like 40 different ways. I recommend that you go out there and pick one. I don't care if it's like bandit signs, postcards, direct mail, the cold calling, whatever. I recommend that you just like pick one and become the master at it. Become so good at it that you're the best in all of your county, your state at this one form of marketing. So if you're cold calling, you're the man at cold calling, or the woman if you're watching. And so just pick it and stick consistent with it. Don't pick all these different marketing tactics out there. Just pick something and just hone in on it and just keep doing it. You may get 1,000 no's. You may have to put up 1,000 bandit signs. But once you figure out what works, you can replicate it and then start to scale very quickly. Rather than if you tried all of these different ways and then you find out that one's working, you do a deal or whatever, then you don't know what you're doing because you're trying all these different things. You didn't test enough in that one area, so you're doing too much. You don't want to do the shotgun approach. You just want to pick something and then stay consistent with it. And then I'm going to kind of quote Max Maxwell on this. I'm going to steal his quote. He's been saying it a lot lately. You're one deal away. So you're one deal away from changing your life and making some life-changing money and exploding your business, or however you want to take it. You're one deal away.
Awesome, man. I love it, Devon. So how can people connect with you?
Yeah. So my big thing right now, I'm actually every day I have a YouTube channel. I upload to it every day. I want to say like 6 out of 7 videos of the week are about real estate wholesaling, and
nice.
I'm gonna start doing some live videos on there. But yeah, so just Devon Canup on YouTube, and then or you can just look me up on Instagram or YouTube as well, or on Instagram or Facebook. Instagram is just Devon DEVONCNP, or Facebook just search Devon Canup and I'll pop up. But yeah, so that's it.
Awesome, man. So you guys, I'll make sure that I'll put Devon contact information in the description. Check out his YouTube channel. Also, too, is I was going to ask you, man, what has you been making on your last, beside the first one?
Yeah, so it was getting to the point where I was doing about a deal a month. So we were doing direct mail is what we decided to go for. And so
nice.
We were consistently sending out, I think we got our budget up there. Like, I think we got to like $5,000 a month in direct mail. And so we kept doing it. We started to run out of lists, and then the market out here in Boise, Idaho started going insane. So like, for example, one property we picked up and we were fixing and flipping it. I got in with a partner. We got it back in November. Is worth about $180. Now it's worth about $240.
Wow.
And it's only June or whatever. So, I mean, we still holding on that property. We're going to make some good money off of it. That's beyond the point. But it's very hard to find people that don't know what their property is worth, because it's like on the news everywhere and everything. So we're kind of having to change up our tactics, basically. So we're trying some new things. We're trying cold calling because we haven't done it before. We got some, like my assistant, she's been calling on the phones and everything. And so we've been really just trying to follow up with previous leads and just cold calling. And so that's kind of where we're sitting. We're still like just under a deal a month. It's slowed down a little bit, but that's where we're at right now. We're just trying to work on scaling. That's the biggest priority right now.
Nice, man. Are you still working with that partner?
He's in Minnesota and I'm in Idaho. And so I still talk to him every once in a while. He like sends me his deals and I just be like, hey, how's it going, or whatever, like what's working for you sometimes, or like, hey, what's new, what's in the business, kind of just network a little bit and communicate, because we're in different markets, so we can share our secrets and it doesn't matter. But yeah, so I don't really work with him specifically anymore, but we're still good friends and keep in contact.
Gotcha. Awesome. So you guys, let's just wrap it up. Devon, thank you so much, man. But one last tip you want to give to those. Give some inspiration, motivation, or whatever you want to say it, who's been going at it for a while and haven't gotten results, to wrap this up, man.
If you've been going at it for a long time and you haven't gotten results, I know I just said this a second ago. I'm just going to say it again. You're one deal away. One deal away from doing it, from changing your life. You're one deal away. Just keep calling people, keep sending out the postcards, keep putting up those bandit signs. I know it gets rough. You may be losing out on your budget. You maybe spend all this money, but that every day is a new day, and you're just one deal away from changing your life.
Dang, man. Devon, I love it. Yes, you guys, those of you who've been going at it, who've been grinding, pushing, and who've been putting in an offer and not getting anything, I'm telling you, I was there, and it's rough. It's rough waking up every single day knowing that you're trying to do something, but you haven't seen anything come to life yet. And you guys, a lot of times what you plant today doesn't mean you harvest the next day. It can take a month. It could be 6 months down the road. Like, it could be a year down the road. But if you give up today, that phone call, that seller's going to call you back, and you're not doing it anymore, could it be $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000?
I think I saw a picture of you holding a check with like $200,000 on one.
and the thing is, you guys, just like Devon said, and I believe it, it only takes one deal to change your whole life around. And it only takes one deal for you to know that, man, I can actually do this. And from there, it's just going to skyrocket. So, Devon, thank you so much, man. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, for getting onto the channel to share with everybody. And I truly appreciate it. Hopefully, you guys will get a lot of value out of this. And I'll make sure I put Devon, all his contact info, his YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, in the description. And you guys, if you do enjoy this, don't be shy. Smash that thumbs up. Devon, thank you, buddy.
Hey, also subscribe to my man Khang. He's got some great work in there. You got to hit that subscribe button. I highly appreciate him. And if you're not getting value out of him, then I think wholesaling isn't your thing. So
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Take care, buddy.